Hello and welcome back to the Derailment Chronicles, where no train of thought ever stays on track. And if nobody's told you today, I'm glad that you're here with me in this moment. We are another month through the year, another month closer to Christmas, year end. The year has picked up. The year has been going quicker. And I think because work has been getting busier with like end of financial year and deadlines and stuff, it's been flying by. I know July flew by, mid-August, it's, started flying by even quicker, like, you know what I'm saying, like it's getting quicker and quicker, and that's how you know it's getting closer to year end. So, like, a lot has sort of happened since I've last sat down and talked to you guys. First of all, big news. Taylor Swift has announced a new album. We honestly, like, Talia and I couldn't have time for that podcast to come out better. We didn't have any clue that, like, a new album would be coming. But a new album is coming. The Life of a Showgirl, or something like that. She's going to get in her burlesque era. She announced it on Travis Kelce's podcast. And if you knew that, and if you were right onto it, like Miss Talia, our resident Swiftie expert, was A+. You passed Swiftie school. You are top of the school. Okay, we are impressed. Okay, we need your mailing address to send you a certificate kind of level. So that's going to be cool. Looking forward to hearing that. We talked about how women in sort of music have to keep sort of changing, getting into new eras to sort of stay a bit more, I guess, in people's ears, a bit more relevant in a sense. So yeah, excited to see what this new era brings for her. So I have had a low point in my life since I did last talk to you guys. I lost a fight to a vending machine. So, and now I just have, like, I had a fear that one day I would buy something from a vending machine and, like, pay for it or whatever, and then it gets stuck and then I can't get it out. And that fear got unlocked this time around. So, we're out at, like, a client site, and the manager gave me their card, like, personal card to go, because it was like, we need some sweet treats. So there was this vending machine that had Haribo bears in it, right? Like the packet. And so I go, and I, like, purchase it, type in the number, and it starts whirling. And then it's, like, nearly fully out to the part where, like, it drops down for you to pick it up. And then it gets stuck. But it is, like, balancing, right? I'm like, a couple of good shakes to this machine, and I can, like, it will come through. Like, the packet will drop down. Like, it was literally on the edge. So anyway, I start shaking the machine, right? Or, like, I try to give it, like, a couple of, like, good bumps so it, like, dislodges, because it was out of the twirly, swirly things. But the thing is, okay, and this is what I noticed after I bought the packet. Well, after I had hit the thing and the vending machine was giving us the packet. The Haribos were put in at a slant, so they were, like, almost, like, so close to lying down horizontally, which the whirly things that push the vending machine thing out don't do that well. Like, they don't. Like, that's not good for pushing it out. But anyway, and so I'm there shaking it, and then this, like, security guy walks past, and then I was just like, hey, I purchased this. Do you guys have, like, keys or something? Because, like, it's literally stuck. And he just looked at me and kept walking. And then so I go back to shaking. Mind you, there is minimal phone reception for me to call or, like, send a message through to my boss to be like, hey, this got stuck. What do you want me to do? Minimum, right? So I'm here like, oh my God, I've got to get this packet of Haribos out. I can't go back empty-handed to tell him it got stuck. And then I was just like, okay, maybe I need one of the other guys to come up and we like shake this together and we get it going. Anyway, then the cleaning lady walks past because she was like clean, because like the vending machines were like in a, like they just have like a staff floor, like all the staff can eat their lunch there. They got like microwaves and stuff, right? And she goes, "Can you please stop shaking the vending machine?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." So then I'm trying to find some phone receptions. I'm like, "Sorry, the Haribo's still stuck there." And so then I find a place for phone reception. I send a photo, and I'm like, "It's this stuck," and I've been giving it some good, like, whoops, some good hits, and it's still not coming loose. I said, "Can somebody come up to help? I reckon we could get this loose." I said, "There is another packet there." And so then my boss was like, "Okay," like the manager was like, just purchase the other packet. So then the first packet comes down. So did that. The first packet came down, but then the second packet got stuck. So I just left it. I did. It just, and then the next day I saw A, the packet was gone, but B, there was a number you can call on it, if like you purchased something and it didn't come out properly. And he was like, "Oh, I'm okay to spend like the $3 on extra Haribos we didn't get." And I was like, "Yeah." But in a sense, hang on, just a little sidetrack to that story though. But like, yeah, it was a low point, but it was funny as I was like, "Oh, I lost against a vending machine today." Anyway, Haribos, I don't think are that rateable, to be honest with you. Like, yeah, they're like too chewy though. You know what I'm saying? And they're little, and then like, I don't know. I think they're just overrated, right? Like, I'm not a big Haribo fan. Like, there's these ones that they used to sell at Aldi in like the blue packet. I think it was like, I don't know, like spaceships and stuff, like some sort of space theme one. Those ones were good because they were softer, less chewy, and more flavorful. Haribo bears are iconic, but they're just not giving. Like, I feel like I could give more for being something that is like iconic in the treats world, you know. Anyway, then okay, at the same place they have to give you like a security card to go through to where you want to go, right? And so, we rock up each day and we get the card and we hand that card back at the end of the day. Anyway, this particular day, it got us in to where we needed to go. But then when we went out for lunch to come back in, it didn't get us back in, right? So I had to go back down to like security, which is like the front desk as you walk in, because you got to like do security checks, sort of thing. Well, you got to check in before you can go anywhere else in the building, and there's a security guard and like a receptionist sitting there. Anyway, so I take the car back to this guy, this security guy, because like we'd been there for a couple of weeks, like a week and a half at that point or whatever. So we knew these people, like they knew who we were, sort of thing. So, and he goes, "Oh, what are you doing back?" And I said, "Well, it's not letting us. We don't have any access anymore. Like it just sort of clocked out." Anyway, at that time, head of security, okay, happened to be there. And so, front desk security guy was talking, be like, head desk security guy, "Hey, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I've tried, like, every day, because, like, usually, it was, like, once a day we'd have to go back down and get the car redone or whatever, right? And we couldn't work out the problem. And the thing is, all the other times we had been to this place, we'd got like different kind of cards, but then they apparently changed something with the security, so then we had to get the cards that they were giving us. Yeah. But the problem is, if they had had somebody else's like profile already on them, then they don't allow somebody, like you have to do a whole thing to clear that to get somebody else's profile put on so you can get the access that you need. So anyway, head of security was like, "Oh, okay," because I was wearing a name tag. I was like, "Oh, she want to come with me." And so I'm like, "Oh, okay." Anyway, so then I'm going to follow him. Then we're going to go into this little back room, okay? This little back room. I'm like, "Where are we going?" Because I was like starting to go, and then I was like, "Oh, he'll just go grab a card." And he's like, "No, no, 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 no. Keep coming, keep coming, come. We're going on an adventure." And so then we get to his office. And he has like a camera set up going, because if you like are a full-time, like an actual employee there, employed by this organisation, you have your photo on your card, access card. And I was like, oh my God, are they going to have to take my photo for this car? I'm like, damn, okay. Anyway, no, but like there was no windows. It was dark. Like I was like, what's going on? And then this guy was like, okay, let's see what we can do about a card. And so he somehow lands on calling us a special visitor because we don't, like, we only really need like general levels that most people have access to, but we don't need access to other levels. Anyway, and he goes, oh, I've never printed one of these before. You'll be the first one. Special visitors that you guys are. Anyway, but I'm sitting down before he's printing this, before he got to this point that this is where, what level of access and what he's going to call the card. He was just like, oh, so how long have you been working for this other Big Four firm for? And I was just like, because 30 seconds before he had said where I had worked. And I was like, oh, rightio. I was like, I don't actually work at the place you just said. And he's like, oh, rightio. And he goes, how long you been in the job? And I'm like, oh, yeah, 3 years. And he's like, wow, that's a really long time to be in, like, the line that you're in. And I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah. But he was just, like, so full on. And then I was just like, I don't know what's happening. Because I'm just, like, head of security. Like, what's going to happen? Like, what's going on? I thought it'd be a simple, like, 5-minute job. Be like, bada bing, bada boom, here's your card. You'll be sweet now. No. It was just, like, I guess he was just trying to fill in time between us, like, getting the actual card. Anyway, that card worked, so now we're set up for the next time we go out. So yeah, but I had, like, he had to print out. I have this, like, special card printer thing, right, where you can print out, like, a label to go on, like, the security cards, and so he had printed out special visitor. And so then I get back to the team, and I said, well, we are a special visitor now. And they were like, Shiv, how do you... And I was telling them, like, the whole story. And they were like, Shiv, how do you get yourself into these situations? And I'm like, I don't know. I just go with the flow. Or maybe I should just stop going with the flow. I don't know. But it was funny. It was a fun time. I was a bit freaked out then with the cameras and stuff. I was like, oh, what's going on here? But it was all good. Anyway. And then this week, okay, I got a message from my Apple Watch, and it was like, there's been a change in your resting heart rate trend, right? And I was like, what do you mean? So I clicked on it, okay, because mind you, the week before, okay, it was like a Monday, I could feel my heart pumping. You know when you're sitting there and, like, you're not doing too much, but you can feel your heart pumping out. And I was just like, oh my God, I can feel it pumping out. Well, I was correct. It was pumping more than usual. It was higher than average BPM rate, my resting rate, okay? It goes, your resting heart rate has dropped 9 BPMs since last week. Okay? And the lower your resting heart rate is, the better it is, right? It's a bit more of an indicator of, like, better health, right? So usually my resting heart rate, if I'm sitting, not doing too much, sits about 61 beats per minute. This week before, it was at an average of 70 beats per minute, with a peak when I was going through airport security of 80 BPMs, okay? This week, it was at 61 BPM, okay? And I was like, that is a massive difference. You can just see the peaks of the couple of weeks before. Like, it was like a week and a half compared to this week. It was like major drop. You could see it. I was like, now I know why I got the notification. I don't know. It's just something about airport security that freaks me out. It's like, I know I didn't pack anything dangerous. I know I didn't. But it freaks me out because then when I was on the belt, I had too much in my like carry-on bag, and they flagged my bag, and then they were like, "Oh, I gotta get you to come over here." I was like, "Okay, alright, yeah." They like grab the rest of your stuff that's been scanned through, and I gotta do that. And because mind you, the security thing is in like a temporary spot now while they're like renovating it. Because this was at the Qantas terminal. Because here's the thing, I was traveling with somebody else, and we got there about the same time, but I got there, I thought probably like 20 minutes early, like 10 minutes earlier or so. And I was like, all right, by the time they get to like the security check-in, I'll already be through, right? Because they've got like Qantas Lounge pass, right? So they go through like the Qantas Lounge primo security thing. Anyway, so I was like, by the time they do that, I'll be through, I'll be ready, you know, because they were gonna like add me as a guest lounge thing. No, they got there, got through into the lounge 15 minutes before I got through security, because I got there and then I got to like, I was like probably third in line to get actual scan to go through security, and then they're like, we're gonna do a shift change. And we're like, what? And then this lady behind me is like, oh my god, I'm going to miss my flight, blah, 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 blah. So then of course, she had to go in front of me. I had a little bit of time. But I was like, damn, I just want my bag scanned. And then they had to take everything out of my bag. So then I had to, like, repack my bag. My actual carry-on suitcase was fine. But, like, they were like, yeah, there was just too much in this bag for the scanners, even though I'd taken out my laptop. Then they had to take out my like second portable screen, and they're like, why didn't you take this out? I was like, because it's not a laptop or an iPad, right? I was like, that's just a second screen. There's nothing going on with it. And they're like, yeah, okay, that's fine, but she still had to take it out. Plus all my like I have a bag with my like electronic cords and stuff. I don't know. It just stresses me out because I feel like all the people behind you are just like waiting, and they're just like, oh, again. You know what I'm saying? It's just stressful. And then they're yelling at you, right? Because they're yelling at you because they're like hats, jackets, belts, phones, laptops, iPads, need all come out of the bag, right? Like they're just doing their job telling you what needs to come out of the bag. But anyway, we did get off track. This was a bit of a longer intro, but I just had a lot to catch you people up on. Anyway, my heart rate's come down, so... But the reason my heart rate was a bit high is because of the anxiety, girlies, you know? And that's kind of leading to what I want to talk about today, okay? If you haven't gotten into your shiv law, oh my god, okay, hang on. Another thing before we get into shiv law. I had sort of been calm about whether you spell shiv, S-H-I-V, or S-H-I-B, right? I was like, look, it's me. I know you're talking about me. Technically, it should be a B, okay? And I have kind of always preferred it with a B because that's, like, how more Siobhan's spelled, right? But the V is more phonetically correct, right? But I was just like, you know what? Like, I made a decision this week. I'm like, I am a shib with a B. I'm not a shib with a V. I am a shib with a B for Bob. And so, yeah, I have made that decision. I have locked that decision in. I have informed people. Some said that this should make national news. Yeah, I don't know. It was just something like a switch flicked on, and it was like, you know what? I want shib with a B. That's how I've always preferred it. Get into it, okay? Because when you say shiv, you just start thinking about those like prison knives, and like somebody made a joke to me once, like sort of upon, it wasn't really a joke, it was a bad joke, okay? Usually I'm here for bad jokes, but I was just like, like really? But I only laughed because you're like, I don't want you to feel bad because you're new, but anyway, rubbed me the wrong way. Anyway, they made a joke that they were like, oh, shiv, like the prison thing, I better watch out for you or you're going to shiv me. And it's just like, yeah, okay. And then every time I saw them then, it was still the same joke, and I was like, I regret laughing or giving you any sort of leeway to tell you that that was okay the first time round. But anyway, that's news. But back to the actual topic of today. Although this is the Derailment Chronicles, so if you didn't expect an off track topic, okay, what are you even doing here? Okay, I'm delivering. Anyway, the topic today, okay, is another episode for Shib Law about my anxiety, girl. Because this one has been a work in progress, okay? If you don't know what you don't know about Shib Law, go check out episode 1 and episode 2, mainly episode 2, for more in-depth about what I'm talking about today. But I was like, you know what? As somebody that has a bit more anxiety than your average person on a daily basis, I'm going to give you some tips, okay? Some do's and don'ts on how to deal with an anxious person when they're having anxious moments, okay? And because the thing is, a lot of people are helpful. A lot of people want to help you out. But not a lot of people know what to do. And I was like, you know what? Like, they don't know what to do. They haven't, sort of experienced it on a daily basis to the extent you have. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to help these people out. Okay, I'm going to give you a do's and don'ts. Now, I am not a medical professional or anything, but I am just somebody that suffers with it, and this is what I would like. Some of these may be a bit more personal, but I think you'd be able to take some sort of basis to apply to anybody, right? So, number 1, and look, this might start sounding like a rant or whatever, but I just need you to know, okay, I just need you to get through this head. I just need you to get this through to you, right? If I am in the middle of spiraling, okay? And you know I'm going downhill. You know it's all coming out negative, okay? And you tell me to think positively. I am going to pick up the heaviest object around me and beat you with it, okay? Not hard, not like, but obviously you didn't get the memo that I'm trying to do that right now. And, like, do I look like a light switch to you? I don't just flick on and, oh my god, all of a sudden it is rainbows and unicorns and daisies and it's all good. No. Okay? The fact that you have just, okay, like, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to do my ground. I'm trying to do my breathing. Get me more present, to get me in a spot to think more positively. You telling me to think positively, which I already know I should be doing, but I'm struggling to do, you are now enemy number 1, because you have sent me spiraling more. You have worsened the situation you were trying to help. The path to hell is paved with good intentions, okay? You have now become my enemy number 1, because I just know when you tell me that you have never, ever suffered with it in your life to the extent that I have, because you just don't get it. And that's fine, okay? That is fine. But I'm teaching you here. I'm here to educate you. Do not say that to me when I'm in the middle of spiraling, okay? Because I'm not receptive to that, and I am just like, oh my god, now I'm doing worse. Okay, because the critical thoughts, the negative self-critical thoughts are winning out, babes. And you adding to that. You're adding to that. I know you're trying to help alleviate things, okay? But there are ways to get me to start thinking positively, okay? You know how, like, your parents would hide vegetables in the spaghetti bolognese to get you to eat more? That's what I need you to do with me, okay? I need you to low-key start helping me to become present, to then be like, help me reframe the situation in a more positive light, okay? So, your end outcome is correct, but the way you're going about it is very incorrect, okay? It's like when you're mad and somebody's like, don't be mad, just calm the hell down. It's like, yeah, babes, I've got a light switch. I can just turn off. Okay, I can just go from full out raging to just being cool as a cucumber in 5 seconds flat. No, it don't work like that. It just aggravates you more. Okay, so that's When I am in the midst of spiraling, don't tell me to do that. That is a big number one. Okay. During that time, when I am having a negative thought, do not give me philosophical life advice. Similar to point one, where you're telling me to think positively, you are also adding to my detriment. Because I know it's not good. Okay? I'm sitting here trying to do my therapy points to try and get me somewhat calmer. Okay, I don't need to be reflecting on my life as a whole because I'm already doing that and it's not going well. Okay, I'm replaying every embarrassing moment I've ever had or whatever, and I'm just like, is this really where I want to be in life? Okay, we are full on spiraling. Philosophers make you spiral more because they make you question it. They make you question life. They make you question how you interpret life. And I don't need more of that when I am in the middle of spiraling. Okay, I need to be spiraling more about an existential, moral, ethical crisis that is happening within me because I already have enough of that going on. Okay, so I will not be receptive and open to your life advice during this time. Okay, you just need to understand that. Okay. Furthermore, when this just annoys me when I'm not anxious, and it is, for example, Teams messages. Okay, if I get a Teams message from you, and you are not somebody that I usually talk to, okay, on a daily basis, okay, we don't know each other that well, and you send me a message that just says hi, and I don't see three little dots that you're keeping on typing. I hate that. I hate that. Okay, here's the thing. I'm like, now, what do you want from me? Okay, you have put me in a bad mood to read what you want. Okay, what you actually want from me. Okay, and if you're gonna wait for me to reply, I'm not gonna reply because you've just pissed me off. You have just angered me. I have so much respect for people that go, hey, this is what I need from you. That's assertive. That's what you want. And being assertive isn't a bad thing. Okay. And this is something I learned in therapy, okay? You have a scale, right? On one end, it's passive aggressive, which is not good. On the other scale, it is aggressive, which most people think being assertive is. But that is just sort of our culture. We are not assertive people. But you would look at the Americans and go, they are assertive people, but it might be coming off as a bit rude. No, if you state what you want in a nice, calm manner, I have more respect for you. I'm like, yes. Go girly. Get it. Okay? I love this. They understand I'm short on time. They understand that I'm an anxious person and they are like, this is what I need from you. I'm more receptive to giving you what you need from me because you haven't had to make me wait, haven't had to make me do some small talk. And I know exactly, like, I can read your full message and then make a decision on what I want to do, how I want to go about answering it. If I do want to answer it, if I don't want to answer it, okay? You are giving me that power, but you're like throwing it out there, this is what I want, okay? Because here's the thing as well. Here is the thing as well. If something isn't going well, let's say a job, for instance, isn't going well, and you keep messaging me, and like I'm answering you back, right? You're asking me the question, I'm answering you back, and it's like, oh, where's this? Where's that? Where's this? I start feeling like things are going downhill. In a sense, you are now starting to add to my anxiety because every time I see a notification that I have a message, I'm like, what have I done wrong now? Because if you get enough of those messages, one after the other, even though they might be like 30 minutes apart, that starts adding up. And you're like, oh my God, I just don't want to hear from this person today. Look, I just don't have mental capacity for them. And then the self-critical thoughts are like coming in and I'm like, shit, It could be something good that they just don't know where to find it. You just didn't know where to tell them to get it. That's fine. But it's not fine. It's not. I'm like, okay. Oh, far out. Like, what else are you going to need? What else didn't I do that I didn't know I needed to do? You know, like, I'm out here trying, but, like, I just don't want to answer Teams at that point. And then I get overwhelmed. And then I get overstimulated. And I'm like, I need to turn off my Teams. I need to turn off my email. I need to delete it from my phone. Like, I just don't want to talk to you. I just need half an hour or something to do what I want to do without thinking about it. But then while I'm there in that half an hour thinking about it, I'm overthinking about whether you have messaged me or not and whether that matter is urgent. So I think if the what do you call it? The solution there is just call me. Okay? Compile your questions and just call me about it. Okay, so I can have most of them in a call in one thing that I have mentally prepared for. Mentally prepared to answer your questions for. Okay, rather than a teams here, teams there, teams there, teams there, teams there, that keeps going for the whole day. When if we just sat down for 15 to 30 minutes, I could have answered your questions. And then we could keep going on with our day. Okay, or send me an email or something. Okay, just don't send me like 50 Teams messages with questions about where this is, because I am just getting worse and worse and worse with each one that you send. Okay, just a little FYI. So, what would actually help? You know, because I feel like I've been pointing out a lot of what doesn't help. So, what does help? Okay. And what helps is distraction techniques or getting onto my level. Okay? And I don't mean you need to get to that level of anxious kind of level. No. You know, you don't have to get on that one. So I'll be sitting there, okay? And as mentioned in episode 2, we do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So I'll be trying to count 5 colours there. What you could do is you start me off, okay? You'd be like, shit, I see white, I see black, I see grey. What colours do you see? What else do you hear? I hear this, okay? You're sitting down and you're walking me through this, okay? You're walking me through this, okay? And it's not it's like not in a judgmental manner. You're like literally sitting there and you're like, yeah, I also see this too. I also see that. Okay? And we're doing it nice. We're doing it calm. We're taking the deep breaths while we're doing it, okay? You are creating a safe space for me to be like, okay, like, I see that you're anxious. I want to help you. Let's get more present. Step 1 is to get more present, okay? Because I am not receptive to anything in that. Furthermore, if I'm in the middle of spiraling and you ask me what's wrong, you're not going to get an answer out of me. Because I am here, okay, trying to find the words to speak. Okay, first of all, language starts going out the window. Second of all, I'm trying to get present to be able to tell you what's going on, but it's like I am trapped in myself and I can't communicate properly to you. Plus, it also means I have to make another decision to like tell you things and like what to tell you and like how much to tell you. And it's just like I need less decisions. Okay, when I am spiraling, I need to make less decisions, okay? Because I am fatigued with decision making. I am overwhelmed by all the decisions I have to make. If somebody comes in and they're like, shit, I need you to do this, I will sit down and I will do that, and I will feel a lot calmer, okay? Because, yes, I do have a to-do list, which I thought is broken up in bite-sized management pieces. But when it all starts expanding and it's not getting any smaller, I start getting overwhelmed at the volume that is on my to-do list overall for everything. Okay. And it gets overwhelming and I'm like, I don't know where to start. Because you tell somebody, right? They're like, shit, you gotta tell people what you have on. So I tell people what I have on for other jobs that aren't their own. Okay, I'm like, this is everything I got on. And it goes in one ear and out the other ear because to them, their job is the most important job, which is fine, which is fair. But it isn't when you have to do the work of 4 people as one person in 1 week. Like, I can't do 4 people's worth of work. What am I going to sleep? What am I going to eat? What am I going to get some me time? You know? So, I get fatigued with making decisions. So, I need you to help me make some decisions. I need you to make decisions for me, okay? At this point, I am following you. Simon says do this. Shib's doing this. Yeah? Yeah. Just because it's just basically like a cyclone going on my head, or like, well, they call them in America tornadoes, you know, the swirly things that go with everything in it. That's what's happening in my brain at the moment. But if you come in and you're just like, shit, this is what you need to do, I'll sit down and I'll do it for the next hour, however long it's going to take. I'm going to work through that. I'm like, okay, now I know what I need to do, because the path gets a bit murky. It gets unclear. So, helping make decisions, sitting down with me, going through the grounding techniques, the breathing techniques. Okay, what do we do then? Getting outside, getting away from the laptop, the phone, the people that are causing you the anxiety, that are causing you the stress, is a big one. Okay, and yes, I am still going for my walks at lunchtime. It is somewhat helping, but when I come back to the 50, well, not 50 million Teams messages, but what feels like 50 million Teams messages that make me feel like I'm like I'm on trial for a murder I didn't commit, like you are a cop asking me questions like I could be the convicted killer. It's not helping too much with that. But getting outside does, okay? Getting outside does. And whatever you got to do to get me outside, you get me outside. I'm always down for a sweet treat. I am always down for a 7-Eleven. I am also down to go for a walk in the park, like to the park or around the park, like just do a walk around the block. Because getting me outside, getting me in that sun is beautiful. Getting me outside in the sun is key. Getting me outside is beautiful. That's what I need to do. It's like, okay, you are here in this moment, you are safe. Because the biggest thing with anxiety is feeling unsafe. And I feel unsafe around certain people and when certain events are happening. And if I feel unsafe, and if I feel like you are a lion trying to eat me alive, girl, I'm not responding. I'm closing down. I'm just like, my brain's telling me these people are not good for you. Get out. They are going to kill you. It is like having an actual literal gun pointed to my head right now in this moment. And my body's been like, why aren't you running? Why are you freezing? These people aren't here to help you. They are here to kill you. And that's just the thought pattern that I am in. That is just where I'm at. Okay, and yes, it makes it hard to have hard conversations. And yes, I am trying to dive into having more of those so I get more comfortable with it. But the whole time, you might as well just be sitting there with a gun next to my hand. Because it feels the same. It feels the same. Anyway, so getting me outside is good. What also works is you telling me a story. I don't care how mundane your story is, okay? But it cannot be what I'm spiraling about. For example, if I am spiraling about work, do not tell me a story about work. Don't, okay? Do not. Tell me a story about how maybe one day you went and you bought some coffee, like coffee, instant coffee from the shops, and you accidentally picked up decaf instead of the actual caffeinated stuff, and you wanted the caffeinated stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm such a silly goose. Stuff like that helps. What also helps is funny, just stupid little TikToks, okay? Some brain rot TikToks also helps, right? Because I forget what I was spiraling about, and I start to calm down, and I start to come back to being more present, coming back to being more open to your suggestions, more open to what you're saying, more receptive, less defensive. Okay, and that is really the key. So, overall, okay, overall, we just need, overall, the steps are one, sit down and help, get back to being present. Step two, get outside. Step three, start reframing from there. Because then I would have calmed down a lot more. Okay. And it is an internal struggle. But these are just things that you can do to help. Right. Rather than go to lines being like, what's wrong? What can I do? And think more positively. Okay. That's just where I'm at. That's really all the tips I had on that, actually, that would really help, because I feel like that covers off on a lot of things. So yeah, next time you see me spiraling or somebody else spiraling, give them a go. See, probably thank you for helping them out. So now back to one of my favourite parts of the pod, which is my reoccurring obsessions. You know, my reoccurring segment. What have I been obsessed with since I last talked to you? Okay. Number one. On Instagram and probably TikTok, there is a comedian called Lucy Magic Darling, and she does some funny skits, and like she posts a lot that are like a lot of videos from her like live shows and a lot of her crowd work, and her crowd work's so funny. Love it. Always makes me laugh. It's just the things that some people ask, and her whole persona is just so good, so funny. It just hits every time. Then music wise, I was like getting a bit bored with music. Like I was like, I don't know what to listen to, but I don't want to listen to a podcast. You know what I'm saying? I also don't want to listen to an audiobook. I just want some like background noise. But I want something with some lyrics in it so I can like sing along to it, right? Like I want some music. And I'm putting like a, I don't know, 2000s mix or something. You know the ones that Spotify make for you, like the daily mix or whatever. Anyway, I was listening to that, and Sam Fender's 17 Going Under comes on, and I'm like, oh my god, I remember this song. This song was actually banger. So guess who's been listening to Sam Fender on repeat for the past month? I have. And then it turns out he's coming to do a show here, but it's the night before Akadaka, and I'm like, I'd probably prefer to go see Akadaka. Funny how things work out. But anyway, his new song, it might. Well, he has a song with Olivia Dean called Rain Me In. I swear I listened to that on repeat for like 5 hours one day. Because here's the thing, I'm the kind of person that can listen to a song on repeat for hours and it hits the same time. Like one day I listened to Return of the Mac for like 7.5 hours on repeat. And it hit every single time. And I was like, after hour 3, I'm like, how's it still hitting? But it's still hitting. Like, my Spotify Wrapped, I listened to Losing You by Angus and Julia Stone for 8.5 hours on repeat. And the next day, I continued to listen to it on repeat. And I was like, this is probably not mentally good for me. So I'm just gonna, but like, the song just still hits. It still hits today. I listen to it and I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. It is like an addiction. I'm like, I gotta like start waning off this song. But like, I just love it so much, and like, I pay for it, like pay for Spotify, so like, I can just pay to listen to it as many times as I want. Like, oh, I love it so much. Oh, it was so good. Anyway, so Sam Fender, he's been via me. Spit of You is also a good one. Yeah, Spit of You, 17 Going Under, Rain Me In, People Watching's good as well. Then rest in peace, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne. You will be missed. But what I didn't know until, they were kind of talking about all his life and stuff after it had been announced that he had sadly passed, was that they in the early 2000s, did a TV show called Keeping Up with the Osbournes, which was on MTV, which was the precursor to Keeping Up with the Kardashians, okay? Keeping Up with the Osbournes crawled to Keeping Up with the Kardashians called Walk, okay? It sort of changed how we view reality TV, like what kind of things we want to see, and it has some funny moments. And people have made like compilations of it on YouTube, and Ozzy just has some funny ass moments. Oh, the man was just looking for peace at home, but he didn't really get that a lot of the time. Especially with like the kids fighting too. It's such a teenage thing. It's so common, and I think that's what sort of like made the show pick up, is that like they're like, oh my god, yeah, okay, they're like us, okay, like the kids are fighting like cats and dogs. We're all the same, sort of thing. So yeah, been watching that, been liking that. Then I also watched Wednesday season 2, the episode 4 had been released, and so I've watched those. It has a different vibe this season. Something's a bit off, and I can't work out what it is, but the outfits are on point. Like when Morticia Addams with the Camp Jericho comes out of the car when they like initially are all rocking up to the camp, and she has like the black safari hat on with the veil, and just like the black umbrella, like that costume was beautiful, executed beautifully. Like all the costume detailing and stuff is superb in the show. I just don't know, like, about the storyline. Like, the new principal, I love Steve Buscemi, however you say his last name. Love him as an actor. Always pulls off a great role. But the way he's doing this principal just annoys me. Like, something's kind of missing from it, and I don't know if it's because it's been like 3 years or something since the last episode, but like something's missing, and it's just a bit different. But it was still good nonetheless. Like, I'll still watch it, but it just doesn't have the same magic to it. Without further ado, that is it for today's episode, and I really hope you enjoyed the chaos. I hope you learned something. I hope you feel educated. And if you're not already, give us a follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or subscribe to the YouTube channel. And jump onto Insta if you want to interact with me, if you want to yell into the void, if you want to see little clips so you know what to expect from the episode. Okay? And remember, life's unhinged, so you might as well be too. Stay chaotic out there.